All right, fam. Woo! Let's get it on. Let's get another one of these things. I was so excited to put this video out because we just got done with KvK, and man, we ran it. We did all kinds of stuff. We tried to figure out what was going to work, what was not going to work, and this is about the rallies. This is all about the rallies. It's your boy Chadski, and I put up videos all the time, and I'm trying to help give real rock life application to the game. How it works, what doesn't work, okay? And as I try to do all that stuff, we find different combinations of things. We find mechanics in the game. We encourage you guys to join the conversation that we always have. Check out my Discord. The link is in the description. Join my Discord. And that's where a lot of these conversations come up and a lot of these different ideas come up. Well, this one is about the rallies. And as you guys know, I'm an Attilla lover, and I love rallies. It's what I do. I'm a Cavs player. I've been rallying for years. It's what I like to do. I do a lot of garrisoning as well. But we were trying to figure out, as we get this KvK, and we're fighting a big Imperium KvK. You got 2377 down here. 365 was up here. They were our enemies. So was 1718 and 3310. And we got on this past 7. We fought in zone 5. We defended forts. We rallied forts. We rallied passes. We rallied flags. We counter rallied. We did it all. And so we're going to give you the information that you need to know. And first and foremost, the thing that, people kind of get tired of the same old sometimes. But last year we found out that Attilla and Gorgo were absolutely meta in a flag or any type of garrison. Great synergies with anti-swarm, great synergies with damage. You could run Gorgo primary, which most people have a lot of the smite stuff of their kits. When you run the Gorgo primary and you're able to put all the smite damage stuff on there, it really, really helps for infantry. You put Attilla behind it and you run those infantry garrisons. Then I started running cavalry garrisons with Attilla as primary and Gorgo behind it. Okay. And so as we did that, we thought to ourselves, okay, we're in KvK, we're in the King of all Britain. We have these stratagems. We have the martial talent. This is the artifact. This is what helps us give you an artifact, best of the best rally meta, because we tried everything and we did everything. And what we found out was that we were going and rallying this pass, and we were rallying it like crazy. Okay. And anybody who kind of sees this pass and kind of what we were doing with it, you can see, and I'll blow it up here for you so you can see the damage that we were doing on this pass. If you just look at that, 370,000. Okay. 257,000. The damage we were doing on this pass, we were finding some of the craziest pairings and what works. Okay. Of course, your regular rally commanders like Ash and like some of these others, Nevsky and Justinian, they're going to be great. And what we found out though was that, hey, let's run some Scipio Emilianus rallies. And since the Gorgo works well with Attilla behind it, let's put Attilla behind it because it's the same concept. Smite damage. Okay. And so all Attilla does is enhance normal damage, and all he does is enhance all damage. And if you can go put him behind a rally where you're going to have one troop type, let's go do it. And we did it, and it was wild. And so if we go in here and look, we started running some of these things, and let me take this down real quick. We'll look at some of these reports. Chisco was one of the first ones. Of course, Chisco's got great gear and great armaments for rallying infantry, right? So he puts Attilla behind Scipio Emilianus. I mean, you could see this thing here. It's trading 2.5 to 1, and it's crazy. And it's got great anti-swarm. They counter-rallied this. They swarmed it. We filled through it, and it turned into a really, really nice report. Okay, so as we're going through that, we're trying to figure out exactly, what other combinations we can have. Well, then we ran Mori's, and Mori is one of the more innovative type of infantry guys, as you can see, because some of Mori's gear, and I'll show it to you here. Okay, so here's some of Mori's stuff. He's got the tier 5 stuff, crazy stuff, but if you look, he trades out the leadership pants and boots and crit stat for infantry. He gets more health that way. So he does some really weird stuff that's really, really working well. And when he does this stuff, it actually turns out extremely well. Here's his armaments, and he runs destructive. I don't run destructive. I think it's got a little bit of deficiency to it. You can see my video on that, but that's what Mori does. Oh, he's got some crazy, crazy assets when it comes to this. And so when you look at some of the reports that you got, Chiskel's, and then Mori ran a really big report on this that was insane. So Mori's report here, Massive report. Lasted a long time. We filled through rally or counter rallies and swarms. We were doing all kinds of crazy damage. The deads that racked up in the past on this were great, and he had those great synergies. So as we were seeing that, we were like, okay, we've got a Scipio Aemilianus with Attilla situation going on here. And we like the Scipio Aemilianus because it's got the 2-second silence when it is a primary commander. That's great. We'll take that. Okay, we want that. And then on top of that, it's also got the smite tree, which more importantly, fight or flight, mitigating the rage that the target is getting. That is great. So there's a lot of synergies there. You want that. However, if you run Attilla first, you're going to miss out on the smite tree and you're going to miss out on that silence. But here's what you get. You get the bonus to normal damage. Okay, when you get a 30% more normal damage bonus, that is in effect for Scipio Aemilianus' smite. Okay, so his smite damage, as you can see down here, it's bonus by normal damage. Okay, so now this 2,700 damage factor, that's where you saw those massive red numbers. So you get more damage with Attilla primary, but nobody has arch stuff for cavalry. Well, I do. I got a whole bunch of it. And so I even have my full set here. I take the destructive off sometimes and just run the well-clad with more stats. That archer attack's driving me crazy. But if you have somebody that has cavalry with this, then you got the meta rally. You got it. And I encourage everybody, because that's the proclamation here on this particular video, is that we're going to tell you the meta rally, Scipio Aemilianus with Attilla, 100%. Not even close. It does everything you need it to do. It does a massive amount of damage. It does crazy anti-swarm. It's tanky. And depending on how you run it, that is the best thing you can do, the best rally, period, in any Artifact KvK, just like Gorgo was with Attilla. Scipio Aemilianus, same thing on the rally with Attilla. It just works that well. And those of you people that are so sick of Attilla, I know I am too, but I love the guy. And the game is giving us all kinds of ways to use this. Look at this. They're counter rallying this, and we're trying to fill it up. We're even filling it with any kind of troop type we can to keep it alive. We get through that, you know, and as we work through that, we go back to this, and when you go back to the rally, we work through those swarms, okay? And so when we had Attilla running primary, all right, the reports, here we go, because it gets pretty nasty. Here was one of the reports I did. That was the first one I did. And I thought to myself, holy cowboys, we're doing 3.5 to 1 here. This is big time. We got a chance. So we ran it again. And when we ran it again, let me see. This was the second time we ran it, 2.5 to 1. Now we're getting swarmed down. So we really started changing the philosophy on how to do that and really stuffing with anything we had. We ran it a few more times. Then we ran the big one. And this lasted forever. We were filling this like crazy. We were filling through the swarms. We kept this thing going for about 45 minutes, and that's how much damage it did. And trading over 2 to 1 against all comers. It crushed the garrison, and then it absolutely laid down so many deads in the swarms. But they eventually got us. On the 6th time they counter-rallied us and swarmed us, they got us, and they killed it. So we lit it up. And we went through a few more. And then finally, we got to where we broke their back. This was the one. They messed up on the garrison captain. We took advantage of it. This traded 433 million kill points to 183 million kill points. And at this moment, the meta was set. Everybody knew right then and there, Scipio Aemilianus and Attilla are the meta in KvK Artifact situations. There are other commanders out there that'll give you great stats and great things, but when you look at this overall, this is just what it is. So what I did and what I'm going to show you is a tier list that I put together. And when I put this tier list together, I wanted to show you the 3 different aspects of rally, okay? And this is what we've kind of come up with. All right, so we can take a nice, neat photo and do all that stuff, but these are best artifact rallies, okay? And the overall best, hands down, not saying it's not great for counter rallies, not saying it's not great for pure damage, but just the overall best is Scipio Aemilianus with Attilla and Attilla with Scipio Aemilianus. I'm going to put this first because it just performs a little bit better than Scipio Aemilianus primary. But they're both so far and away all well-rounded and the best you could run that's what you got to put at the top. We also played around with some counterattacks, okay? And the counter rallies were wild. Like absolutely wild what we were able to do with the counter rallies. And so Chisco ran the Martilla. It was crazy. He's got videos on that. He's got a stream on that. He put Martel, but with Attilla behind it, it did so many deads. They took 4 million deads off swarming it, and we could reinforce it. Okay, so Martel Attilla, Attilla Martel, you can run those either way, but that is the best counter rally if you're gonna be swarmed. Okay. And then also, if you're running a counter rally and you want to do it with archers, you can do the Henry Attilla. That really does well too, because Henry's got a bunch of normal damage and counterattack. And then if you're also wanting to really punish the rally, okay, and maybe it won't be swarm, but maybe it will, you run Attilla Luce. It does a cone AoE, it punishes the rally, and it hits the reinforcements, which is really, really good. You can run this down here as well, but those are kind of your best counter rallies, okay? And then we go to true damage, pure damage. I don't mean true damage, I just mean pure damage. Highest damage you can get, you've got the field, they're not swarming it, they're not counter rallying it. What can you do? And Ash Tariq is the best. Ash is so good with his damage, y'all. He is so good. Ash Tariq is the best, and then Nevsky Ash is also really, really good at laying down all that damage, okay? And again, this is just for artifacts. So this is the same troop type stuff, because people are like, well, what about Ash ZL? Or, what about Scipio Emilianus with William Wallace? See, I'm not talking about that. These are Artifact KvKs. These are the combinations you could run to change troop types for some commanders. So that gives you everything that you need for the best artifact rallies. Okay. And so with all that being said, we had an amazing time this KvK. We had an amazing time playing and fighting and finding out what's going to be best and how it's going to work. And we really, really figured it out. And it was like, okay, we got to proclaim this. You want to know what the best rally is in an Artifact KvK? The meta rally, Scipio Emilianus with Attilla, or Attilla primary with Scipio Emilianus behind him. That is the meta rally. And so you can try it out yourself. If you've got infantry players with great smite stuff, odds are they've got Attilla, because they've been running Gorgo Attilla. But if you're one of these rare cav players that's got a bunch of smite stuff and normal damage stuff, you better think about going to get Scipio Emilianus and start running those rallies, because it's going to get wild. So with that being said, we want to give you all this information. We found out a lot from KvK. We want to give you that experience, show you the reports and how this stuff works. And with that being said, we'll get out of here. Look for more videos about this KvK. Look for more streams as they happen. Be sure to subscribe. It's free to you, and it really helps support the channel and what we're trying to get done here. Don't forget to join the Discord. And with that being said, we love you guys. You guys take it easy, broskies.